power plants. As you know, the government has committed to investing in the installation of a further 9,600 megawatts of nuclear power between the years 2025 and 2030. But the highlight today really was the Zambian government signing a cooperation agreement with the Russian state-owned company Rosatom, which is the major nuclear company here in Russia. And that basically comes on the back of Nigeria and Kenya doing the same yesterday. It gives us a sense that other African countries outside of South Africa are now believing and feeling that nuclear is one of the ways forward. They all did state, the African leaders who were here, they stated that given that the energy gaps that are there, nuclear is one of the ways that they have to pursue, that needs to be in their energy mix. Sounds very much like the sort of the story that we've been hearing from government, but they seem to be acting rather fast. The Zambian representative today said that she was hopeful that they'll be depending on nuclear energy in the next 10 to 15 years or so. And then in other news, just you spoke about the Russian company here making a lot of partnerships and deals with other countries. Well, it had a media briefing today and spoke about how it had managed to seal about 30 deals in the past couple of days. It was reluctant to sort of monetize what those deals come to, but it was saying it could potentially be anything up to $10 billion. But obviously, a lot of work needs to be done and things need to be actualized before that money is actually made. But it is a lot of money. It's quite substantial. They were talking about their current book. When you take everything into account that they have going, stands at about $300 billion US. So they're quite a big player, but they're competing against the French and against the Chinese as well. So they were saying that they're making a lot of deals. They made deals not only with Nigeria, Kenya, and Zambia. They also made deals with Tanzania, Hungary, Slovenia, India as well. I think they did about 3 deals with India. So they're very active, and other countries that were not mentioned to us. So there's been a hive of activity here. There are a lot more people attending this year than last year. Obviously, there are no anti-nuclear people here. Of course, from my perspective as a journalist, it would have been nice to speak to people who are not so for it. But here, very much the feeling is that nuclear is the way forward. It's a reliable source of power relative to your renewables like your wind and solar, which are not always available. And storage of those particular technologies is difficult at the moment. But the main discussion today, or the main theme, was around nuclear power engineering and the new players that are coming into the sphere, namely your developing markets like your African countries, and about how to ensure things like skills transfer, and all of that kind of stuff. So these deals that have been made will augur well to African countries being in charge and in power in terms of taking care of their destiny when it comes to provision of electricity in the future. Francis.
Nompu, very quickly, we're running out of time, but there was speculation that this was a done deal, that we would be giving the deal to Rosatom, when government has since said that, in fact, several countries are in the running for our own nuclear deal. The decision has not been made, but can you see how close we are to Russia, to the nuclear agency? Is there any sign of what could be coming our way?
Look, I think it's clear that, we're here in Russia. The Russians are very keen and they're very confident and optimistic, and they're speaking positively about the potential to translate the partnership it has with South Africa into a meaningful deal that will lead to the building of a nuclear power plant. But at the end of the day, there's a competition that's going on, and we'll only see when the government announces what's really happening. But I think the interesting thing is that government is taking so much time in making a decision, because the longer it delays, then the longer we delay actually getting power plants being built. And we don't want to be in a situation where we're back in 2008, where because there was no decisiveness about building power plants, we're back to square one again once we start experiencing economic growth and so on. So no, I don't think there's any clues at the moment. I had thought that the Minister of Energy would be here. She was billed to be here, but she's not here, so I've not been able to put the question to her, and I doubt very much she would answer me directly. Francis.
All right, thank you very much, Nompu Siziba, and she'll be visiting some nuclear installations in Russia tomorrow.